Hey yo, what up? It's your boy Price the Boss. I got my co-host with me, Carrie with two R's, two E's. And where we at right now?
We at the No Poli-Cast.
Yes. We are here. We are here. Episode 11 of the No Polycast. I got my lovely co-host with me, Carrie with two R's and two E's. And Carrie, please tell us who we got in the building. We got a lot of
Oh,
merch. Who we got in the building?
woo! We got the gorgeous Miss Arlene Jane in the building.
Mhm.
Thank you for joining us, beautiful. Loving the pink. I'm loving the whole attire. You look great,
As always, as
right?
always.
Thank you.
Happy to have you.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Yes, guys, shout out our sponsors, the Circle Tea,
Mhm.
Black Spade Studio. Make sure you follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel, comment, and make sure you tune in every Wednesday for our No Poly Premix show, guys.
Definitely. We got a lot of merchandise in the building. Everything's looking all pink and lovely. What
Loving
does it
it.
say right here? Hustle, heal, and motivate.
You got
What does that mean
it.
right there?
It means a lot. It's a lot. It's like my power slogan. Definitely influenced by that Nipsey hustle mindset
Mhm.
of hustle and motivate, but
Mhm.
that heal part that a lot of people forget about.
Yes.
And that is a big part of what this is, what Hustle, Heal, and Motivate embodies. It's my private practice, it's
Mhm.
an umbrella of all the work that I've done for years.
Mhm.
Wow.
And around it's centered around mental health and counseling therapeutic
Yes.
services,
Yes.
but it goes so much deeper than that.
It's very important that you use the word heal because sometimes in order to motivate others, the leader has to heal sometimes too. And everybody goes through mental health issues, even people that we look up to or we don't expect to have mental health issues. What made you decide to hop into that field?
So I've been in like the social work field for decades.
Mhm.
It's something I've always been really involved in. I started working in social services, working for nonprofits uh,
Wow.
years ago, decades ago.
Mhm.
But it comes from my history, my own personal history of not necessarily mental illness, but having to heal other parts of me. I was
Mm-hmm.
very young on the streets at 13 and having to, like,
Wow.
figure out how to survive um, really young and, living in parks downtown Toronto on top of subway grates to keep myself
Jeez.
warm in the middle of winter, right?
Yeah.
And I seen at a young age a lot of friends in my community die around me, become incarcerated, drug overdose. It was just infested within my community.
Wow.
And
Mhm.
so I lived that for many, many years. And I was sick of that life and just needed to change. And so I was inspired to go back to school. I was a dropout. I didn't know how to even send an email at that time or create like sentence structure.
Wow. Yeah.
But I had a community of people that like really supported me, seen my vision, and I went and did my undergrad and graduated 4 years later on the dean's list.
Congratulations.
Wow. Good
Yes.
for you.
That's
So I was
big.
just
That's big.
like motivated,
Right.
Of
right? That
course.
motivated to
Absolutely.
create change within my community. And
Good for you.
yeah, part of that healing was also like not only healing my community, but healing myself of the
Yes.
years of trauma that I've experienced from the life that I've lived, right? So
Yes.
it's just, I've embodied that and then started working with like street involved people for many, many years.
Mhm.
Um,
Wow.
People who use drugs and street based sex workers who use drugs. Um, yeah,
You've really given back and just engulfed yourself right in your community. That's
Mhm.
in
amazing.
my soul. Yeah.
Right. And that brings us to our topic of the day as well, because it is Mental Health Awareness Month. You were mentioning that to us earlier. So that's amazing that you focus on that and you help people within your community that are connected to kind of your upbringing and what you've been through, and you understand what's lacking and what's needed and where you can contribute and help and encourage people, and you're doing that. I love
Definitely.
this. I love this site. I think you look beautiful. Like, that's a beautiful picture. I love the pink. Hustle, heal, motivate. Like, you're a strong woman, like, a boss, and you care about people. That is so inspiring.
Thank you.
So
Thank
let's
you.
give her roses. Let's
Definitely.
give
I
her her
could give her
pink
roses. Pink
roses.
Pink
roses.
roses,
I like
long
that.
Yes,
stem
long
pink
stem
rose.
pink roses.
And I was gonna mention too, does it help that you look cool? Because sometimes when people think about mental health and they think
Yeah.
about those things, it's hard to
Yeah.
like talk to someone that they feel like.
Facts.
Does it
That
help that
that's
you?
the thing
Mhm.
is like I sometimes when I'm talking about it, it's like I'm like use the slogan reinventing therapy, right?
Mhm.
Where it's like I've gotten therapeutic support to like work through my past traumas, and
Mhm.
I've spent most of my session educating the therapist about how
Wow.
I've lived, where I've come from, where I
Mhm.
wasn't doing that deep trauma work, and they were pathologizing and
Right.
focusing on
Yeah.
things that's not my problem,
Right.
like because the hustle part, I've had to hustle to survive.
Yes.
I've had to hustle to get where I am today. And having them focus on that hustle and thinking that's the root of my problem
Mhm.
Hmm.
is something that's really unique. When people come to me, I'm not going to be sitting there. You don't have to educate me. I'm not going to pathologize your criminal
Mhm.
history. I'm not
Mm.
going to pathologize that you've had to,
Mhm.
grind in whichever way,
Mhm.
whether you had to sell drugs, whether you had to do your thing to
Right.
get through. I get it because I come from that life and
Yes.
I'm authentic. I share that, I don't
Right.
share the complete details. I share what's safe for me to share,
Yes.
but people know that I've lived it. I
Right.
come from
And it
it.
helps. It
It's not,
definitely
yeah,
Mm.
helps.
not your traditional therapist that you may go to, but it's like your non-traditional like you can relate on another level. So it's like you understand the key points to why they're coming to you, and what they might need, so you can really
Definitely.
resonate with them.
That's very important.
Wow. That's amazing. And so people can go to your site and they can see everything here.
So the site is actually, I'm in the process of upgrading because
Mhm.
I launched my business in the midst of a pandemic. So it's not the exact vision. Like, it tells my story, it tells kind of what I do, but it's not as clear as I want it to be. So it will be launched for my 1 year anniversary
Yes.
along with my clothing line. Just like something that's more clear so you could see my services, because
Mhm.
not
Yes.
only do I offer counseling, I also offer coaching. I also love to bring the coaching kind of philosophy into my counseling, where I'm supporting people that are struggling to survive,
Hmm.
and not only just stay in that past stuff, that like
Right.
past trauma, the shit that you've been through,
Mhm.
but working towards the future. Like, how do I get from having to survive to actually thriving,
Mhm.
Of course.
and
Exactly.
I've
Exactly.
embodied that, like I've come from like, living in abandoned buildings, living on top
Wow.
of like, like I said, subway grates to keep warm.
Wow.
And I last couple years ago, I got my daughter out of the hood. I purchased my first home.
Wow.
I was able to get a master's degree,
That is
Is
going.
that the
amazing.
masters that we're speaking about?
Yeah.
No, this is
Another
actually
one?
so
Another one?
this
It's
is
something
like,
else,
so I
man.
got my master's in public policy because that's
Hmm.
my thing. I want to change the
Hmm.
fucking world.
Good for you.
And this is actually my undergrad university, and my undergrad university connected with me and offered me an alumni achievement award for the
Wow.
work I did in like that I've been
Yeah.
doing since I've graduated. So they brought
Wow.
me back to Sault Ste. Marie, And don't we love how that guy's just staring at my ass?
Which one?
This one right here,
With the
Yeah.
him.
glasses? Is that
Yeah,
your
There was
glasses?
yeah,
so
right there.
many
Both of them
memes.
are.
Like my
These
friends
two,
made
right
so
there.
many
And this guy
memes
has
with
no
this.
But
shame
wait,
in it. He's like,
look
yeah, I'm
under the
looking.
certificate. If you look right under this award, that
Yeah.
lady, she's even
She's
watching
looking too. We
For
see
sure.
you, girl.
Jeez.
So the
Shit.
funny thing
Hey.
is that I had to give a speech along with this. So all of like the funders and the big university folks were like in the room, and the
Yeah.
woman that
Yeah.
had to introduce me was she was sweating. She was stuttering because she
Ooh.
had to say words like drugs
Yeah.
and sex work
Mhm.
and like introduce some of the work that I've done. And it's
Nervous.
such a
Yeah.
conservative
Mhm.
body.
Yeah.
Whereas this is the same university that when I wanted to do sex work research, that there was very few supportive people,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And then a decade
Wow.
later, they're
Wow.
having me come back in and awarding me for the work that I've
That they
done.
didn't help you do.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Well, that's great. That's how it goes.
I was
sometimes.
gonna do it with
Yeah,
them.
People always come
you.
back around when they see things
Right?
popping sometimes.
Takes time to change things, especially in northern communities like Sault Ste. Marie, you know. And
Right.
sometimes you don't see the impacts of your work
Right.
until
Definitely.
yeah.
Right?
Sometimes
People
it's
they come after or whatever, you know?
yeah.
You gotta people understand when you're on a mission and you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it with or without them. When they come, they come. You either
If
be
you
there from
build
the
it,
beginning or you come afterwards. I'm gonna recognize when you decided to hop on and hop off. But hey, you know, if you want, I'm not gonna turn down your support. If you want to support me later, then that's on you. But hey, shout out to the people that support you from the beginning, you know, and help you
Shout
get
out
to
Right.
to them.
you know.
Mhm. And talking about that, like that's why I was here, because like I just wanted to like give a shout out to you, Pricey,
oh,
because
wow.
you're someone that has always supported me when I was like doing modeling or whatever, always like checked for
Appreciate it.
me, and we never even really knew each other. But the first time, I don't know if you remember, that I met you in person
I think I
is
remember.
always dear to my heart. Like,
Yeah.
so it was like because I was
Let
living
me see
in
if I
Vaughan.
remember. Okay, I think I remember.
I was
I
living
need to
in Vaughan in
know.
Oakwood, and I was with my daughter. We were like walking, and it was like you were doing some pictures, some like photo shoot in front of the pharmacy that says drugs.
Oh yes, yes,
Right
yes.
on
yes.
Egg West there.
Yeah.
And then you came up, and I think you were hustling like perfume or something.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then
I
my
swear.
daughter, she's so Vaughan and Oakwood. She's like trying to like scam you, and you like reach and you're like grab whichever one you want. It's yours, girl.
Yes,
Oh
yes.
It's whatever
goodness.
one, and I didn't know
Aw,
you. You were just like, here you
Pricey.
go, and
I appreciate that.
yeah,
You gotta re-upon good deeds
I need
sometimes.
to, yo,
Yeah.
that's one. That's number one. I need to know how many times we're going to hear a story about the first time I met Pricey. I swear to God, he was hustling perfume.
That sounds like,
Yeah, that's one
that
we
sounds
had
like
on
a
the show.
Justin story.
I've heard
right
it
there.
twice
Sounds
so
like
far.
a Justin story, right?
Right?
Yeah.
I've heard it twice. I want to know how many more people are going to tell me that story about how they met Pricey and he was hustling.
Hey, I'm really out here in these streets.
Yeah,
man.
man.
yes,
But I appreciate that. I do remember. I do
Yeah.
remember.
Wow.
And she's really good to network with too. Like she's
Right.
really like we're talking earlier about all the people that she supports in the culture.
Yeah.
Like I seen her in Century Sam's video.
Yeah.
Which other videos did you do?
Rax official.
Rax officials videos.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rax. She was
Shout
there.
out to
Yeah,
Rax and our
watching that.
booties going viral.
Talk about that. So how did you feel about your booty being on Six Buzz? There's a lot of people seeing your booty. You know?
I was just
Yeah.
like, it's not the first time my booty was out there, right? Right? It's been out there a few times.
Jeez.
Yeah, I like it. It was what it was. You know, I just made sure I didn't read the comments because you know the crowd that Six Buzz brings. It's just like you know,
Yes.
it's not that positive energy that I love to surround myself. I feel like they try to bring that in here and there, but that's not what I like to fuck with. It's not like you know. So it's great. It was great for rocks or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, this was actually the picture the first time my ass went viral.
You gotta,
This is
you
the
gotta
first
lift it
time
up a
your
little
ass
bit. We
went
gotta get
viral.
the full
Hold on,
view.
hold
You
on,
gotta,
hold on,
a
hold
whole lot
on.
more
Wait
booty
a
on that
minute.
picture.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me get the mouse. Wait a minute. Hold on, guys.
There's
Hold on, there we
arrows.
go.
She's struck
Right?
Loading,
I just wanted to
loading.
get the title. Remembering Bedford. Impacts of criminalization of street-based sex work. So tell us what is going on in this picture
So
on June
remember,
2nd, 2016.
yeah. For sure. So remembering Bedford is this is my master's thesis that was published in a global magazine on sex work from um, NSWP, which is a global sex work organization that lobbies for the rights of sex workers throughout the world.
Mhm.
And so my master's thesis, which was completely groundbreaking, and we'll go into it a bit more, and groundbreaking in the sense that it was the first of its kind
Mm.
of research for the new laws that were introduced.
Wow.
And
Mhm.
so I don't know if you want me to go into that now or.
Definitely. May as well,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
we're
it.
here. We're here.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so three sex workers launched in 2014. They took the Canadian government to court for the provisions,
Okay.
and so which were living on the avails and communicating, and then also where you work. So these laws like criminalize every aspect and criminalize the sex worker as well. And so we took those laws all the way to the Supreme Court and we won.
Wow.
Unanimously, all the judges said that these laws are unconstitutional and they
Mhm.
put sex workers' lives at risk and put them in harm's way. And so that was revolutionary. For a blink of an eye,
Right.
we almost seen decriminalization here in Canada.
Uh-huh.
Very, very close. Like the entire world was looking towards us because we've made some revolutionary groundwork in
Mhm.
regards to sex worker laws.
Wow.
Another place is New Zealand that has a decriminalized model, but there's very, very few places where it is. It's more been legalized,
Mhm.
where it is seeing sex workers as we need to save them and
Mhm.
everything around them oppresses them.
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
with that mindset of trying to eradicate sex work at the end, none of them acknowledge sex work as actual work.
Mhm.
And so when we won, this was when the Harper government was in power, and it took them not even a year later to reintroduce new laws. They disregarded
Oh wow.
what the Supreme Court said. And they reintroduced these laws, and these laws were really focused on third parties, and meaning third parties would be like anyone that sex workers pretty much love and care about that are in their community or hire to keep them safe, right? And so they seen them as like the stereotypical pimp that you see on media that's like, turning girls up. Like it just gives no agency to the sex worker. And it also was kind of displayed as decriminalizing the sex worker but criminalizing all the other aspects. But
Oh.
actually,
Wow.
no, it didn't decriminalize the sex worker. Even know that sex workers were no longer caught under the same laws that they were before. They're still criminalized by all these other aspects. And
Right.
then they fucked with their money by targeting clients, right? So
Wow. Yeah,
if you're going to
exactly.
acknowledge something as work, then why are you targeting something that
It
pays people
right.
to make a living,
Right.
right? And so we've seen the increase of targeting of clients. We've seen the increase of pimps being targeted, or managers, or drivers, and
Mhm.
all that
Mhm.
stuff. And also the jail sentences had also increased, right? And then if anybody has followed this, traditionally the people that get caught in these laws, especially the pimping laws, are racialized black
Mhm.
men. And so since then, this was one of the first research initiatives after those laws were put into place. And I was working at South Riverdale Community Health Center with this super dope team called Counterfeit,
Mhm.
and they do some really radical work around and drug decriminalization and harm
Wow.
reduction work. the counterfeit team does some Brad shit, like even bringing like supplies, safer supplies into drug dealers' homes to make
Mm,
sure when people come and purchase their
Wow.
drugs that they have that equipment to keep them safe.
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
they've been doing
Wow.
some
Wow.
really, really hardcore work. My mentor, Rafi, that had passed away a few
Oh,
years ago.
sorry to
Shout out
hear.
to Rafi. He's
condolences.
like on a global network changing like laws around drugs.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and so they completely supported me
Mhm.
on my sex work mission to work around these laws, and they actually funded my research. And my research was so unique that I actually had participatory research where there was 6 street-based sex workers. The majority of them used drugs that we followed for 6 weeks,
Yeah.
and we followed them, and did a lot of like surveying and getting to know them, how they worked and their thoughts around sex work. And some of the results of this research was really challenging those third party mentalities of how people view those that people hire to keep
Mhm.
them safe. And
Right.
one of the things that came out and that's published here is the relationships that sex workers have, street based sex workers specifically have with their drug dealers, and how that is the safest person for them. They won't
Wow.
go to the police. It's not their
Mhm.
clients. It's not the cops. It's not the
Mhm.
system. It's their drug dealers. At the end of the day, if they get raped or if they
Mhm.
get beat or whatever, they're going back to their drug dealer,
Yeah.
and they're going to keep six for them. They're going to make sure that they're good.
Wow.
And it really challenged a lot of people to look at drug dealers
Mhm.
in a different light, especially with the audiences that I was
Mm,
sharing my stuff with.
Mhm.
But this picture came from when we did go to the Supreme Court of Canada, and this picture kind of just went viral and had been like featured on a lot of different sites when people were talking about the Bedford Challenge.
Mhm.
And "We Fuck to Win" was a slogan that we used for a campaign when police started arresting street based sex workers in my home community of Sault Ste. Marie, and
Mhm.
started publishing their names
Oh wow.
and started publishing their home addresses. And the entire community, the cops, the politicians and the community members were witch hunting these street-based sex
Oh my
workers. Yeah,
gosh.
people were
Hope
like
they don't do that to the
picketing in their
pedophiles.
right?
stroll, and it was a nightmare. So we actually started this thing called Stop the Arrest, and we
Mhm.
got global support. And
Wow, you were out here, man.
yeah, and we were calling for an all-out moratorium on arrests of sex workers until these laws came out. So
That's
It's
good for
crazy.
you.
yeah,
Wow.
so it's like
You
not
are
just
busy. Yeah.
academic shit, it's like grassroots
Mhm.
revolutionary stuff. It's in the
In the
streets, it's
streets.
organizing, it's on every different level, because I don't think at the end of the day the government's ever going to give us what we need to feel for sex workers to feel safe and
Exactly.
liberated, but it's very important to fight on all those different fronts.
Mm,
I'm not going to give up
Exactly.
on a decriminalized model, but I don't think that Trudeau or Harper or any of other these politicians are ever going to be able to give us exactly what we need. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to stop fighting for it.
Exactly. You got to keep fighting, and you've been fighting, and the work you've been putting in is amazing. So
Bad
kudos to
girls,
you.
no bad laws.
Right?
we
Bad
were
girls,
talking
no
about it
bad
earlier.
laws.
We're talking about
Yeah.
it earlier that we were
Yeah.
going to get into the politicians, even though this is the no Polycast.
No funny.
But we gotta make sure that the politicians get the message, and you guys doing it the right way. And when I say
Mhm.
the right way, I mean going through the right steps to get
Yeah.
to that point. Some people think because they make a post or they complain or this or that that's the right steps.
Mhm.
You actually gotta take the certain steps to get your message across so it can be acknowledged and things can actually be done, right?
Yeah, I have to sit down at tables with people I've never thought that I would break bread with,
Mm,
that like
Mhm.
I don't think that, I didn't think I would ever have communication with, and having to be able to, show them what my knowledge and be able to present that to them
Mhm.
Yep.
and, speak their language to a certain extent in order to get what we need at the end of the day. And it's a lot of work. We just launched our second charter challenge. So we're going back to the courts and all these new laws that they slapped us with,
Yeah.
and we're fighting them again.
Wow. Good
And
for you.
so March 30th, just 2 months ago, we launched it, and we're ready. We're ready to go. We're preparing. We're gathering our witnesses,
That's
our fact
amazing.
witnesses.
Good
Hey,
You
job.
know,
you're
and
not
that's
gonna stop her.
yes,
She's
yes,
not gonna stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Unstoppable.
yes.
You can't,
There's like an
can't stop, won't
alliance.
stop. Hey,
Oh, she's going off.
okay, you can't stop her. Okay, so y'all can try. She's not gonna stop the fight. She's out here pounding the pavement, guys. I
Right?
love it.
And she's been doing it for a minute too. Let's
Right?
talk about the merch because I wish this was
Right?
unisex. 'Cause I would have
This
wore
is
this in one of my next videos or something.
flow.
It's
Tell
coming.
us.
It's coming.
Talk to us about it.
Sexy.
So this is my merch to my business for Hustle Heal Motivate. The logo is actually designed by an artist in the States. She's a sex worker activist, and she's like done tons. Like when sex workers see this, they know it's Butterfly Mush's. Shout out to
Mhm.
Butterfly Mush. They know it's her work, and she
Yeah.
customized this for me. I
It's
just kind of
amazing.
gave her my vision,
Yeah.
and it's actually me taking the balaclava off. And so a lot of like when I was doing a lot of modeling and when I was dancing and stuff, I went by the name Miss Balaclava.
Okay.
So this is me, my next steps, where I'm going, kind of using all of my history in creating my brand, in
Yeah.
creating my business, right? So it's like kind of taking off that piece
Wow.
for the n- my new my new
Your new,
my new
yeah,
steps.
yeah,
That's what's up.
that's
Mhm.
amazing. I love that. The
Yeah.
graphics, everything,
Mhm.
like the detail.
The money,
Right,
the
the money, the
bricks.
heels.
We like that
Excuse
money.
The
me,
books.
excuse me. The
And the books.
batiras, excuse
Mhm.
me, everything.
Yeah, it
Everything.
embodies me, I'm
Yeah.
about the academics, about,
Mhm.
knowledge.
Right,
I'm about my money.
right.
And
Little baddie.
so
You
this is
look good.
thank you.
Hey.
So this is going to be launching June 1st with my 1 year anniversary, and
Nice.
yeah,
On
alongside
your
with my
site.
new website and
Mhm.
everything that I'm doing. I'm just lucky that, who knew that starting a business in the middle of pandemic was going to like
Prime time.
Right?
thrive, but
Right?
it's been blessed. It's been blessed. There's a need for al- more of an alternative kind of approach to
Exactly.
therapy, and yeah.
So I
Exactly.
have a personal
Yeah.
question. Not too
Here
personal,
we
or not
go.
Okay.
crazy like that,
Pricey.
crazy like that.
Okay.
But what's the secret? Because I've known you for a while,
Mhm.
and you look like you always look good. But you look like you're a lot healthier though.
Mhm.
Is it like the workout? Is it a diet?
Mhm.
What is it? Talk to me. I need the secret. I need to know. I need to
You
know.
need the secret. Well, yeah, yeah. Like I've been about my health, and I entered it's fitness for
Hmm.
sure. I love lifting. I love running. I love that stuff. I fell in love with it probably about 8 years ago, and I've been on a mission, and then life really fucking hit me hard 2 years ago, and it's not like I ever gave up. Um, on like training. I don't think I've ever had a week off from training in the past eight
Yeah.
years, except for when I got my titties done.
Yes.
Like that's like I even fractured my hip from like
No.
overtraining, and I was still in the gym.
Wow.
I was
Wow.
just like going
Yep.
with my
Right.
like crutches from the scene. Like I'm about
Right.
that life. I'm
Yeah.
about that life.
That's
Mhm.
what's up.
But a couple of years ago, like life did everything to me. Like I had to relocate my daughter, a ton of shit. Our
Oh
housing
wow.
got jeopardized, and
Wow.
I was like homeless for a minute with my daughter,
Oh
like
no.
a couple of years ago. Like our place flooded, and then some other stuff happened.
Wow.
And so my body was just like holding on to stuff. And like, I wasn't like all of a sudden, like, and all bodies are amazing. But for
Mhm.
me, it was just like, I started like getting thick, thick,
Mhm.
Mhm.
thick that like,
Yeah.
and what really helped was when I, really dealt with my stress, when I dealt with my
Mhm.
trauma, with
Mhm.
what, and then I feel like
Absolutely.
I'm back in a place.
You had the
Right.
chance to heal.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
Keyword
exactly,
heal. Yes.
exactly. Like, I will fully
Right.
admit that I I I continuously work on my mental health. It
Mhm.
is a priority, my mental health, my physical health, like my financial health,
Mhm.
my
Definitely.
mindset, just uh, that's what I do. I'd rather sit down with my friends and talk about how are we going to make money than talking about like what party's going on tonight.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
how are we going to make money but also change the system at the
Right.
same time,
Yes.
Right.
like um
A lot of people don't
mhm.
even understand that your stress can impact you physically. Like
Oh
they will
yeah.
Mm.
not because they haven't made that connection to
Mhm.
stress
Mhm.
and how you're feeling physically yet.
Disable you.
Right.
It can
It really
cripple you.
does. It
Cripple
does.
you.
Yeah,
And condition you.
if you notice when you're stressed out certain pains in different areas of
Mhm.
your body, recognize it
Mhm.
because
Yep.
those are the triggers letting you know that like your body is taking in that energy.
And it's so great that you say that because my therapy, like the way that I approach therapy, is an embodiment kind of style. I love the modalities of somatic therapy where I teach people to actually like go into their body and recognize like their sensations
Mm.
rather than talk, 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 because like you can only talk about your shit for so long. And sometimes that even like can
Just reoccurringly hearing
Mhm.
about it.
yeah,
Yeah,
like,
reliving it.
when you've
Yeah.
lived through struggle all your life, last thing you want to talk about is teaching a new person about your
Right.
struggle.
Exactly.
So I love using next steps of like different ways of healing where people don't have to just like, spew everything out.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I love that. So if people
Mhm,
want to check you out and like book an appointment with you
mhm.
as a counselor, they would just go to your website for that as well.
Yeah, they
Let me
could
see
go to
that
my
again.
website. I'm also on, I should give you the link too, on Psychology Today as
Jeez.
um, an acknowledged clinician. There, they can DM me. I'm not as active in the DMs as I am through emails and stuff that comes through my website.
Mhm.
So if you want priority and attention quicker, that would be the best way. And like I said, there's many different ways that I work with people. It's not just counseling because not everybody wants to like it's hard work, it's heavy work.
Mhm.
I do
Right.
coaching where it's just forward focused. I have some people that I work with that are just starting up their new businesses or want to learn how to become incorporated and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
especially predominantly because of my knowledge and the work that I've done, I see a lot of sex workers.
Yes.
I would say probably about 80% of the people I work with are in the sex industry or have had to pivot because of COVID and like explore different avenues.
Right.
Yes.
And so I've like done some mindset work around that, having people like acknowledge that their work is work and also teach them about like quit stuffing your
Right.
money under the bed,
Yeah,
and put that money to
exactly.
work. So I do some mindset stuff around that as well.
Yes.
You help them to like kind
Hmm.
of like
Yeah.
build onto their brand and their business and their self-name.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So
That's so
like
important.
that's why it's important for me to share my story because I've gone from surviving and not investing in these things to being able to be up at a place that like I can pay my mortgage, I could, get a car and that's
Mhm.
brand new with 0 kilometers and I'm legit. Like my name is
Right.
legit. I don't need fake papers. I don't need,
Right.
and so teaching people because the thing about sex workers is that it's hard to have that on that paperwork,
Yeah.
right? And so teaching people the avenues of actually becoming like a legitimate professional
Wow.
is an aspect. Another piece of it too is um, I was like having a hard time because my rates are like they're higher rates,
Mhm.
and but the people that I love to work with are people that share the similar paths as me, like
Right.
that come from the streets, but those folks can't afford me. So I actually wrote a grant to the government, and we were awarded a nice sum of money. And so I'm collaborating with Sex Worker Action Project Hamilton.
Wow.
And so my services are actually free right now until August,
Wow.
for any street-based sex workers that
Wow.
want
Free.
some free counseling for like, yeah.
That's amazing. Can
That's
you
what's up.
tell us about some more of your amazing like things that you've done. You were mentioned in a book as well.
I wasn't mentioned, but I wrote a chapter.
You wrote a
I wrote
chapter,
a
yes.
chapter in sex work activism in Canada, speaking out, standing up. It was created by Amy Lebovich and Shauna
Wow.
Harrison. Lebovich, shout out to her. She's one of my dear friends, and she was also one of the plaintiffs that moved forward, that brought the Bedford Challenge to the Supreme Court. So she's
Wow.
like bad as fuck. You know, it doesn't
Hey.
get much better than Amy Lebovich. And so my chapter specifically is about the activism that I did that made those booty shorts that
Mhm.
were in front of the Supreme Court, for for the stuff around in Sault Ste. Marie.
Wow.
That's
Mhm.
correct.
Wow. You've just been you're
Get into
so
it. Get into it.
motivating, man. And not just that, magazine mentions as well. You've been mentioned
Uh,
in
uh, uh,
magazines.
yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I've been published in magazines, for some for my brain, some for my booty.
Yeah. Some for your brain, some for your
Yeah,
booty.
yeah.
Uh, what are some of the magazines that you've been mentioned in?
So my research stuff is like it was in the sex work. It's called Sex Work. Um, and then I've been in tattoo magazines. I've been in the Ultraviolet tattoo magazine,
Wow.
maybe 2 or 3 times. I've been in Missy Ink. Yeah,
Wow. You've just been out here,
published.
girl. I'm loving this. Loving
Boss.
this. Boss.
Yeah.
Baddie.
I had
Bossy.
a question I wanted to ask you
Pretty.
Okay.
earlier.
Ask me.
Are you a fashionista?
Am I a
Do you consider
fashionista?
yourself? I know Carrie's a fashionista.
Carrie is bad. She's a fashion
Thanks, babe.
for
Honestly, let me
sure.
just answer this question for her because I know you see her sitting right next to me.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Just
Right.
asking.
Enough said.
What inspires the style, though?
I don't know. I don't know what inspires it. It's just me,
I love it,
It's just
right?
me.
But you acknowledge it, though.
Super
You know you got
curvy.
drip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay,
got
as
big
long okay, you
drip.
know.
I got a
Okay,
big
I should know.
drip.
I should know.
Yeah, we always like to
Yeah.
highlight our guests' drip when they come on looking nice and drippy. You look
Yeah.
good. I love the pink. Pink is my
My
absolute
nails.
favorite color. Love it.
And
Love
she's
it.
keeping the nails done during the
Right? In the
pandemic. Like,
pandemic.
Shout
you
out
got
to
like a
my
personal.
lash
Yeah.
girls. Shout
Shout them
out
out.
to my nail
She doesn't want to
person.
shout them out
Cat right
specifically
now.
because then
Cat right now.
everybody's gonna
Right?
be
Oh, right.
And cat
Sorry.
right now.
right now. No,
Shout
you're
out
not
to
gonna look
no
at
one.
It's
right now the
Shout out
barbershop.
illegal.
to
It's illegal to be a bad bitch right now.
Right.
Right, the
It really
barbershops,
is. Totally
the
correct.
nail salons, and the hair salons right now are the new traps. Cause it's like
Right?
Yeah.
I tried to get a shape up the other day. The guy was at the back door, like forward. I'm like, holy, it's a shape up, guy. But it's really serious out here, So
Right?
it's a risk looking fly.
Yo, like some of
Risk.
the baddest bougie bitches out there,
Right?
like going through broom closets to get their nails done. You know what I
Right?
mean?
Suffering,
Like
yo.
it's what we gotta do.
So gotta
It's
do what
what
we
we
gotta
gotta
do.
do. But I'm still looking for someone to do that pedicure.
Right? A champagne. I've never had a
Well,
champagne
listen, if
pedicure. I'm not
anybody's
gonna lie.
watching and they wanna, give her a nice pedicure, you don't know, holla at her,
Right?
hit her in the DM, be polite, guys.
We need to have a nail salon owner on here to
And a
just
barbershop on deck.
right?
Yeah.
Right?
I wish it was like NBA 2K. You could just sit in the chair and
They'd have,
film.
Get your
they'd have to wear the
right?
balaclava because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like outing
Yeah,
I like
right?
that
themselves, right?
balaclava.
Like
I did not know that's what it was called.
yeah, Isn't that
I'm
sexy?
gonna
That
put it
ain't
out there, guys.
sexy. That
I
ain't
love it.
sexy.
Yeah.
So when's the album dropping?
When we collabing.
Oh, you heard that? Yeah,
Ooh.
okay, say less.
Say
Not
less.
Press. Say less, say less, say less.
Price-a-demic.
Cool enough?
Don't give Pricey any ideas. If you
Hey.
give Pricey an idea, he's like,
Hey.
I love it.
all right, here we go.
Right?
Oh, man. I
Good
love
times,
it.
good times.
Well, I love all the work that you've been doing and all the work that you're going to continue to do.
Facts,
Amazing
facts.
queen out here. Killing it. Just killing it. Just inspiring us all.
You
Thank
said
you.
a nice slogan earlier today.
Yeah, what is the quote of the day going to be? I like what you said.
What was it? Bad bitches, no bad laws.
Yeah.
Bad peeps, no bad laws.
Hey, no bad laws.
What does that mean to you for the viewers who never?
It means that, well, the slogan actually comes from, there was like this sex work slogan in the movement saying no bad girls.
Mm-hmm.
No bad girls, no bad laws. And I'm like, fuck that, we're bad.
Yeah.
And it's good to be bad. Like, it's okay. Like, let's
Yeah.
celebrate our badness. Like, we don't need to be ashamed of being bad.
Exactly.
And so just kind of reclaiming that, like, you know, like I
Yes.
embody that, like my, like bad bitches, but like we're over these laws that criminalize people to getting paper, these laws that really put people in harm's way in
Right.
getting paper, that like we've seen people die because of these laws, right?
Yeah.
People lose their lives,
Right.
you
Yes.
know? So we need to change those laws, not only the sex work laws, but the drug laws, especially right now when we're seeing fentanyl, you know,
Right.
like that's a pandemic,
Yeah,
yo. Like,
This is a
exactly.
pandemic,
you know,
definitely.
and like that's one close to my heart. My father died from overdose,
Oh,
and
No.
you
So
know,
sorry
my
to hear.
partner that I moved to Toronto died from, you know, like it's just
Oh my
like
gosh.
so close
to
to
home for you.
my heart. And those laws, you know, that make people use in unsafe places, work in unsafe places, it's costing lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow.
So
What you
fuck
do is
those
so
bad
important.
laws.
Well, we commend you and we
Yeah.
respect you and we adore your effort towards helping those who can't for themselves, right? And just
Right.
like Carrie said, you know, we brought you here so we could give you pink roses.
Long
Long
stems.
Right?
stems.
Long
Long
stems.
stems.
No
Yeah.
thorns.
Exactly. And why don't you let us know what's your song of the week? What keeps you motivated? What do you like to listen to when you're out there pounding pavement?
This track, Body, and
Yeah.
Fabio Foreign.
Hey.
Yes, Tyon, Wayne, and Russ.
Well, I knew I was feeling lucky, and this was a lucky episode 11.
1-1, baby.
It's your boy Price the
Let
Boss.
everybody know what your tag is. What's your Instagram? Spell it out so they know.
It's at hustle.heal.motivate. And then my personal one, if I like you, I'll accept you, is at Arlene Jane.
Hey.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we're going to make it pop up on the screen. Shout out to Jay Pizzle. You already know. It's going to be there. But yes,
No
it's your
Polly.
boy Price the Boss. And I got my lovely co-host, Carrie with 2 R's and 2 E's.
Hey.
Bad co-host.
Yes, my bad co-host. Yes.
And guess me
I got
up
a
over
bad
here.
guest too.
Right, my bad guest over here. Just, I'm loving it.
Let them know your name one more time.
Arlene Jane or Arlene.
Jeez, you guys hear that? Or
Arlene.
Cool enough?
Cool enough.
Jeez, I ain't got no more water, man.
Price is getting hot. All right, y'all. No Poli-Cast. Make sure you follow us. Follow Carrie Music, Price the Boss, Hustle, Heal, Motivate. Thank you for tuning in. Episode 11. And make sure you check out the premix every Wednesday, guys. We out.
Hey, yo, what up? It's your boy Price the Boss. I got my co-host with me, Carrie with 2 R's, 2 E's. And where we at right now?
We at the No Polycast.